Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be checking out Overly Sarcastic Productions' Halloween special H.P. Lovecraft. Last time around, we went through a bunch of the stories, including the one based on H.P. Lovecraft's fear of AC. Yeah, I'm still kind of stuck on the fact that that scared him. Cool that he wrote a story on it. Weird that that scared him. It's normal now. And honestly, I still don't think it's even makes sense to be afraid of it then. But that's just me. There's a lot of people in the last video's comments who had some very good points about H.P. Lovecraft's life. His, let's call it idiosyncrasies. That's a safe word for YouTube. And the fact that he was honestly worse than I thought, but also he was getting better and he had a lot of issues. And he's way more complicated than I thought. And I kind of need to just do another video completely unrelated to just going into the overly sarcastic production stuff, going into what he is, just because I want to see that. This is going to be completely for me. I don't expect anyone to watch it. I just want to do that. I might even make a video. I might just have fun with it and watch it on live stream or something. But more importantly, I just want to see where this goes because I like the story. I like what Overly Sarcastic Productions brings to this. I like how Red is presenting it, but it is difficult because as much as I'm trying not to cringe, I'm cringing a lot. This is a complicated character, and I don't really know how to feel about him. He's cool, but stupid. He's interesting, but dumb. He's innovative and honestly predicted radiation sickness pretty damn well. But he's also a freaking asshole. Yeah, I got a complicated feeling about this, and it makes this way more interesting just because it's not an easy answer. So we're going to jump right in and see where this goes. I don't know how Red's going to present the rest of it because I've heard it gets pretty bad if they do certain stories that are not picked up ever. I don't think they'll cover that one. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Probably just the highlights. I don't know. And I'm just really excited. So if you haven't, link below, original video, hit it up. And if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe and let me know where I should go up for specifically to look into more H.P. Lovecraft stuff to see just what was up with him. Because I kind of want his story now. As effed up as it is, I want to know what the hell's going on. And yeah, let's get started. Dunwich Horror. Oh, the Dunwich Horror. I've actually heard about this. Mostly, oddly enough, through Fallout with the Dunwich Borers and a lot of YouTube videos on that. Phobias. Rural Massachusetts, interracial couples, and poor white people. Of course it is. I mean, to be fair, rural Massachusetts is effing creepy. Like, seriously, if you're outside of Boston, it gets creepy really fast. And I have family who live outside of Boston. This is an informed opinion on my end. The rest is just...
If there's one thing Lovecraft hates more than not white people, it's the crushing existential terror he feels every time he leaves the house. If there's one thing he hates slightly less, it's low-class white people. This story is narratorless and...
Welcome to Scenic Dunwich. Ask about our inbreeding inbred population 100-ish. Oh, dear God. Just going with the inbreeding. Okay, we're starting off that way.
Takes place entirely in the rural Massachusetts town of Dunwich, an old town that smells bad and is generally creepy and off-putting. The story begins when Wilbur Whately...
Lavinia Whately? Neat. Wilbur Whately. Ah, she basically just drew herself with pink eyes.
He is born on February 2nd, 1913 to Lavinia Whately, an albino, deformed, inbred woman who likes wandering the hills and hanging out in creepy stone circles. Her father is Old Whately, sometimes referred to as
Wizard Whately. Oh, of course he is, because they're the cultists.
Wizard Whately due to his large collection of creepy occult books. As for who Wilbur's father is, well, that's not exactly clear, and Old Whately is being ominously cryptic about the whole thing. But this is Lovecraft cryptic, so it doesn't take a genius to put together from his mutterings that Wilbur's dad is something named Yog-Sothoth.
Wait, what did that say? Good job bearing the spawn of Yog-Sothoth. Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Anyway, shortly after Wilbur is born, the Whateleys board up one of the sheds and also start buying a lot of cows, although oddly, they never seem to have a lot of cows, and the ones they do have look really anemic and seem to have weird marks on their necks. Alright, place your bets, everyone. So
Wow. Wow. Good eyes. A vampire, an alien, a zombie, an incomprehensible monster. Technically, C is correct. I mean, I know they're going for D, but I think it actually is C. Just because Yog-Sothoth was kind of an elder god, so that would be technically an alien. Does C and D both work? I'm getting way too into this.
Everyone. So Wilbur grows pretty...
Age 11 months, apparently. Yeah, I actually know a bit about this story. Again, oddly enough, through Fallout. I like how they gave him a little slit pupil across, so like more of a goat eye effect.
Naturally fast and can talk and walk at 11 months old, but he's also super ugly and goat looking and really neurotic about never being seen naked. Also, dogs hate him, so you know he's evil. So old Whately keeps doing house.
No comment. I'm not saying dogs hate me. They just have a habit of barking and then trying to lick my face off in that order, and then going back to barking again. It's like, make up your mind!
Repairs, and at one point builds a big ramp up to the second floor from the outside. This is also around the same time that locked shed gets opened. Now, the story pretends like this is a mystery, but we've all put together that there's something unspeakable in the shed and Whately relocated to the house. Got it? Good. Moving on. So now the shed is empty except for a horror.
Apparently, age 4. Dear God, he looks even older than the old man. Honestly, they're getting across really well just with a few lines here and there. Really good drawing style.
Horrible smell. Wilbur is 4 but looks 10 and is taken to carrying a gun to shoot any and all.
He looks 10? Okay, I was not expecting that.
Dogs that randomly attack him during his daily goings-on, in case you were wondering if you were supposed to like him. Also, people keep hearing mysterious sounds coming from the sealed-up second floor of the Whately house.
Why do they keep going to the Whately house?
From the shed. What a mystery this is. Anyway, twice yearly, Wilbur and Lavinia do weird rituals on one of the nearby hills with a stone circle. Wilbur and old Whately continue to remodel the house, by which I mean they knock out every wall on the second floor, clearly because the horrible whatever is growing bigger, and then old Whately has an attack of some kind and dies, but not before expositing in the long
God! Oh, but before I go, remember to feed the unspeakable horror in the attic and don't neglect your destiny. Unleash the freeing you from the to something urger. Yeah, like she's scared and he's just going, yep, thanks, Granddad. Good to know. I love the faces she gives them. They're very expressive.
Longest death monologue ever about how Wilbur will need to be careful to take care of the thing in the house, and that then he'll be able to open up the gates to Yog-Sothoth with the chant you'll find on page 751 of your textbook. Anyway, he dies, Wilbur continues to grow hella fast, and Lavinia is actually getting scared of him now. She vanishes one Halloween, probably because of the giant horrible monster in the Whately house, just a guess obviously, and Wilbur relocates all his stuff into the shed and knocks out all the remaining walls in the house for reasons I can't possibly fathom. Anyway, Wilbur, who now looks fully adult and is about 10 feet tall, seems to...
I'm sorry, wait. Why is there a cute anime girl in front of Cthulhu with heart? I'm going to ask a question. And if no one answers, I'm completely okay with that. Did this episode come out after Sucker for Love? I don't want to explain what that is. But this seems, I'm just going to drop this line. I thought, I don't like it. It's disturbing.
To be getting a little desperate. See, he has a copy of the Necronomicon, but it's damaged and incomplete, and is in
this
fact
where the
missing the crucial
started?
page 751. So he starts shopping around nearby universities.
Where do you keep the evil books? I have a response. I'm not going to say it. That would be the mathematics section.
Trying to locate an undamaged copy. When he heads to Miskatonic University, the librarian Dr. Armitage happens to look over his shoulder while he's examining the page and notices a lot of conveniently expositional lore about the old ones and how they exist in the spaces between reality, and that this Yog-Sothoth...
Wait, they just had that in the library and he never even noticed? Wow, that's one hell of a library.
Character is the key in...
Also, holy crap, I love the fact that they made the eyes glow when the background cut out. Great little detail there.
The guardian of the gate, and can bring the old ones out of the spaces between and into reality again. Armitage is very creeped out, and when...
Can I borrow this? No, I mean, special collections have to stay on campus. Oh my God. Also, I love how he's progressively getting more and more goat-like as the story goes on.
When Wilbur asks to take the book with him, Armitage refuses, and also warns all the other universities in the area to turn him away. Armitage immediately...
Wait, do all the universities have these books? How is it even a mystery if they literally just have all these Cthulhu collections? Hey, you know how to open the case of those? Oh, no, we keep that in the second floor. Nobody goes there. Yeah, I mean, we guarded by a whole 3 staircases that you have to walk up. Can you imagine using stairs? Oh, God. Old ones. How old? Why so many tentacles? I cannot read that. Yog-Sothoth. Key and gate. Oh, God, it's just... What is a Shogoth? You don't want to answer that one. Danup. What? Really wish I could read that one. Can't actually read it.
Immediately starts researching Wilbur and the old ones, and while he's at that, an increasingly desperate Wilbur breaks into Miskatonic University to steal the Necronomicon. Unfortunately, Wilbur runs afoul of the university's guard dog, who completely wrecks him, and upon finding the dying Wilbur, the horrible truth is revealed. He looks really nasty. Specifically, the only human parts of him are his face and hands. His chest and back are scaly, and below the waist he goes completely bonkers, covered in coarse black fur, with weird mouth tentacles hanging from his waist, eyeballs on his hips, a tailed trunk thing, and crazy hoof pad feet. Wilbur dies muttering,
Yogg Soggoth, yeah. Honestly, though, I just want to take a second to appreciate just how cool that looks. Like, they even put little fur details, the suckers have the teeth. It's like a simplistic art style, but the glow effects around it, it's just... I like how this looks. I love this style. We're just splotches of colors to give the effect. Also, I just like how you could see the brushstroke work, even though some of it's taken out. It doesn't look fast. It looks clean, yet also really fast done, which it can't be done because it has so many layers on it. I just really appreciate it, though. God damn. It's creepy as hell. I've seen other people depicting this, and it didn't look as creepy. Also, I love that the blood here is all glowing in gold, showing just it's completely non-human.
tentacles hanging from his waist, eyeballs on his hips, a tailed trunk thing, and crazy hoof pad feet. Wilbur dies muttering something about Yogg Soggoth, and his body completely disintegrates, showing the horrified onlookers that apparently he had no bones. Anyway, everyone's super creeped out already, but then the night of September 9th, about a month after shit goes down in Miskatonic University, shit goes sideways in Dunwich, as whatever was growing in the Whately house got too big and too hungry to stay put, and is now rampaging around town. And it's also invisible, which certainly doesn't make things easier on anyone. Back at Miskatonic University, Armitage and the other professors have been trying...
The Arkham Sun Star Tree debate rages at Miskatonic. The use of the star, and I can't read, fighting at the with your orc? I cannot read that. Diary of a real kid? Or banal? I cannot read some of this. How big will it grow? Needs meat. Oh God. Only partially lorpful? Here, there, it. Can it be killed? I still can't read that. I love how I just keep adding things to it. Oh,
trying to
dude.
decrypt Wilbur's diary
Why
and
bubbles?
figure out what the heck is going on with the monster he keeps talking about, when they learn via an innocuous news
Either Dunwich brandy is really volatile, or the monster exploded a house. Honestly, the first one could also be a thing. It's a thing that happens quite often, actually. A lot of moonshine distilleries are found because they blow up. So, yeah, just a thing. It actually does happen.
paper article that it's broken loose. So they march over to Dunwich to find that the rampaging monster has crushed and eaten at least one family house and seems to spend its days lurking in the glen while going out to feed at night. A quick headcount suggests that the local cops went down to the
We called the cops, but now we can't find any of them. They couldn't have prepared for this. I guess bullets aren't a thing. We need more! Sorry, I'm going space work on this, aren't I?
glen to bother it and got eaten, but the professors are much better prepared. Armitage has some Latin spells, Rice has a bug...
No, seriously, that's actually what they're doing. I don't...
down to the glen to bother
No.
it and got eaten, but the professors are much better prepared. Armitage has some Latin...
Armitage. Latin incantations. I am a man of science, but I know when I'm out of my element, because magic.
spells, Rice has a bug...
Arcane potions. If only we had a way to test its potency beforehand. Oh yeah, because the body of Wilbur kind of de-bodyfied itself. Not sure why that would show there was no bones if it all kind of went away at the same time. Whatever.
Bug sprayer full of magic not being invisible anymore juice, and Morgan just brought a really big gun.
Wait, isn't magic not being invisible juice just paint? Did he literally just have a can of paint and a bug sprayer? It's kind of what it sounds like. Morgan, gun. We don't know, it won't work. Get off my back. Ah, yes. They are going Vampire the Masquerade logic. Enough shotguns will fuck over most things other than Kane.
That night, nothing happens, but
on
the
the
next
move.
day the monster eats another farmhouse, and Armitage rallies the dudes to go after it. When they see it moving on the hillside,
Crash.
Armitage and
They
the
can
other
track it that
professors
way.
break off from their crew of
Keep an
terrified
eye on
villagers
it.
who observe the goings-on through a telescope. The one unlucky guy with the telescope gets to see the de-invisible monster and immediately, but descriptively, panics and starts yelling out adjectives. Anyway, as they watch, they see the professor's head...
Oh, wow. Oh, I love this description of it. Or not description, the drawing of it. Like the eyes, the mouths, they're curved in different expressions. The main one's screaming, but there's like little happy ones. And it looks like it's smiling here and there. Oh, it's all over the place. There's multiple eyes and mouths. It's creepy. It has trunks and tentacles. And dude, that's insane. That's such great depictions of something that's just unworldly. I love this. Nos castras. Oh, wow. I cannot even read that.
for the stone circle and yells something in Latin, and the monster responds by shrieking a lot about
Oh, it got even crazier looking when it's actually visible. And it does look like they're smiling. It's just insane. Oh, wow.
Dogs thought the name very much not English language before transitioning to English to scream for help before it gets struck by lightning and disappears. The professors return and broadly explain that the monster couldn't really exist in normal reality since it was half Yogg-Sothoth, so they magicked it into not really existing anymore.
Did they?
Anyway, Mr. I looked through the telescope and saw the face of madness starts yelling that the monster had a huge face and it looked like the Whateleys, and yeah, the big plot twist is the giant blob monster was Wilbur's twin brother, though he looked a lot more like his old man.
The Shadow over Innsmouth. Phobias. Rural Massachusetts. Poor white people, non-white people. Specifically Polynesians. Interracial couples in the ocean. Yeah, he's afraid of everything. He's channeling it in a way that's at least not the worst, but the source of this is just, every time I read this, I just want to, like, slap the guy.
Now, so far, most of Lovecraft's narrators, if they exist at all, are horrified onlookers to an otherwise fairly distant nightmare. They'll find notes about it, or interview the people who actually lived it, or live next door to the monster and completely miss.
Honestly, the monster is pretty chill. I'm going to pretend I meant that pun, but yeah.
All the excitement. The Shadow over Innsmouth, written closer to the end of Lovecraft's life and well after he moved back to Providence, is a serious departure from form in that the narrator and main character, Robert Olmsted, is point blank on the action and in fact,
actually happening at the
personally
time.
Invested in the story. So the story begins with Robert warning us.
Oh, geez, that is a terrifying way to draw something. I shouldn't be telling you any of this, but, well, things have changed. Ooh, good choice of words there.
Breaking a long and government-mandated silence about what exactly happened in Innsmouth in 1927, and you'll see why he's breaking that silence when he explains what's up. His narrative starts with him traveling along on a tour of New England, where his mother is from, trying to get in touch with his roots and research his family tree a little bit. However, being broke or thrifty or something, he's attempting to take the cheapest route possible, and this is how he hears about Innsmouth in the first place. There's a
Come to Innsmouth, we have fish! Yeah, that's
very
actually a lot
cheap
of
bus
towns.
route that runs through it, mostly because nobody goes there. The dude expositing this tells Robert, completely unprompted, and it goes on for pages, that Innsmouth used to be a decent town, but had recently fallen into ruin after a nasty epidemic wiped out a lot of the population. All they do is fish, except for one gold refinery ran by an old man Marsh, who's the
When was this out? 4 years ago? Yeah. That's the only reason they didn't make a 2020 joke, isn't it? It's literally right before. Right before! And if I need to explain what I'm talking about, oh, you sweet summer child.
grandson of one Captain Obed Marsh, who supposedly had a lot of trade with South Sea Islanders, and maybe married one of them, although it's confusingly worded. People in the general area tend to be ashamed and cover up any Innsmouth heritage they have, and while Exposition Dude notes that Marsh's descendants all look pretty normal, Old Man Marsh himself has supposedly developed some kind of skin condition or deformity in his old age. Innsmouth has a
I mean, to be fair, people who do have gold mines, if they're involved in the process itself, didn't it use mercury at this time? So being a little fucked physically is actually a thing. I'm almost completely certain that's not what this is referencing because, yeah, there are actually some physical issues if you get involved in the more dirty aspects.
A lot of nasty old rumors about it, including devil worship and some stuff about a very spooky reef in the Innsmouth harbor called Devil's Reef. Exposition Man says most of the hate is probably race prejudice.
It's probably just racism, but I'm racist. So, yeah.
But he can't say he disagrees with it, so props for self-awareness, I guess? Anyway, he says most Innsmouth people look kind of weird with like big bulgy eyes and stuff, and they tend to go bald really young. And place your bets, everyone.
An evil fish conspiracy, zombies, alien, color poisoning, incomprehensible monster. Isn't it always D even when it's not D?
So yeah, Innsmouth is weird and private, and they don't like strangers, but the bus is really cheap, so what are you gonna do? Robert does a little more research and finds a piece of
weird, right? The Marshes really want it back, too. Fish worshipping the sun. Actually, really cool art on that. Looks really fun. Not fun's a horrible choice. Like something you'd actually want to go see. Just gold and shiny.
very weird-looking gold jewelry covered in weird oceanic designs and fish-frog humanoid monsters. The curator mentions that the Marsh family keeps trying to get this piece back, and she suspects it might be part of some obscure pirate hoard found by Obed ages ago. Ooh. She also explains that the devil worship rumors aren't completely unfounded, since the locals have apparently taken to worshipping Dagon, who in real mythology is a Mesopotamian grain and fertility god, but in Lovecraft land is a fish demon nightmare thing.
I'm actually kind of wondering, like, did he just not know what Dagoth was, or just hear the word, assume it was from something that wasn't his basic... Okay, never mind. I know exactly what happened here. He heard about it, knew it wasn't what he was, so it was suddenly evil. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, our hero Robert What Are Warning Bells Olmsted hops on the bus the next day and is immediately creeped out by the bus driver, who is very distinctively ugly. Big bulging eyes, receding forehead and chin, overall fishy look, and also smells really bad. I'm sure it's nothing. Anyway, Robert begins his walking tour of Innsmouth and finds the place very creepy, very smelly, very empty, and very inhospitable. He notices that almost everyone looks similarly fishy to the bus driver and hops into a general store to try and find someone who seems remotely normal. Luckily, the storekeep is a 17-year-old normal guy from Arkham, Massachusetts, who is also uncomfortable in town.
Wait. I'm sorry. There's an Arkham, Massachusetts? Is that something Lovecraft made up, or is that an actual place? Sorry, I always heard Arkham. I'm thinking, Batman reference. If it's real, I would be very surprised about that.
He warns Robert to be careful where he wanders and to stay away from churches. He also fills in.
Really? It's a story about fish people, and you use the pun fishy because it's suspicious and fish people. I am not going to forgive that. That is an unforgivable pun. And I'm not entirely jealous that you made it up first. I didn't think of it until I saw it. And I'm definitely not. That is not the case at all. No.
Some exposition the other guy missed. The old people always look way nastier than the young people, and despite spending a lot of time in town, he doesn't really know any of the Innsmouth people. They all keep to themselves. In fact, the only person Robert has a hope.
Zodak. Wow, that is one hell of a name. Local ominous look. Or kook. Crazy guy? I think that's the term.
Of getting exposition from is one Zadok Allen, a normal-looking 96-year-old man who spends his days wandering the town, getting really drunk and muttering.
Wait, people actually lived to their 90s during this time period? I thought most of them just died of some kind of horrible disease at this point that they hadn't cured yet. As opposed to now, where it's just fast food clogging your arteries and you die of a heart attack. Different reason, same outcome.
Ominously to himself. Fulfilling his role of video game
Here's a map.
NPC, the storekeep draws a map for Robert and sends him on his way. Robert locates Zadok, lures him into an abandoned part of town with a...
How do you have a map to a homeless crazy guy? Fiction. No, it's fiction. That's weird, but it's a thing.
Bottle of booze and gets him talking. Zadok is a drunken fountain of exposition. Hooray! More of this! And starts at the very beginning with tales of Obed Marsh, who starts off his exploits by sailing to a South Sea island he heard had disproportionately good fish hauls and luxurious but creepy gold jewelry. Obed learns that these people are sacrificing their young men and women to some kind of underwater fish people community thing and getting all kinds of favor in return, including fish and gold. The fish people also come up to the surface twice a year to mate with the humans, having told them that their kids will start off looking human but will gradually...
Kylie here has already grown her gills. Yeah.
really become more fish-like until they become full fish people and can live underwater full-time. Also, being a fish person means you're immortal unless directly killed, which is a pretty sweet deal, kind of. At this point, you can close the book because you've basically got Innsmouth figured out, but let's stick with the story for funsies. So Obed maintains very lucrative trade with this island for years until one year when he returns to find the island completely destroyed by the neighboring islands, who caught wind of their shape of water shenanigans and burned them to the ground. This is bad.
Oh, God damn it, that fits. Sorry, I didn't even think of that movie until he said, Is this what inspired Guillermo del Toro to make that? Or is it Del Toro? Del Toro, yeah.
For Obed, since his other trade routes aren't doing so hot, and if he stops raking in the cash, Innsmouth stops prospering. So instead, Obed uses some stuff he learned from the Fish Island people to make contact with some fish people right off the coast of Innsmouth, at Devil's Reef in fact, and renounces the Christian god to start worshipping Dagon and raking in the fish and gold. Of course, this isn't a unilaterally positive decision, especially due to the string of disappearances required to maintain the fish people deal. And after a while, the townspeople revolt and Obed and his cult are arrested. A couple of weeks after that, however, the fish people erupt out of the harbor and descend on the town, enraged due to the lack of sacrifices. They wipe out over half the town, which is the so-called epidemic from the history books, and Obed takes over and goes full crazy.
Oh yeah, honestly, I love this effect. It's something that they've done a few times with glowing aspects, but this one, just because it's backlit and it's shining around him more, and the glowing eyes in the back, and just the fact that his eyes are completely shiny and white, while none of the front facing is, it's such a really cool, simple effect, but it does make him look really creepy. If I saw this without any context, it would be as kind of terrifying, actually, and I really love it. It's using simple techniques to get across a very solid effect. It just really works. Including leading into the start banging the fish people thing. Zadok mentions how Obed took a second wife who was obviously a fish lady since she was literally never seen in public, and they had 3 kids together. One of whom looked perfectly normal, was educated in Europe, and then went to live and get married in Arkham. She's basically the only Innsmouth person to have ever left. Anyway, Obed eventually died, but Old Man Marsh is still kicking and probably only a few years away from a full fishy transformation. Zadok starts getting increasingly manic and tells Robert that the fish people are planning something and they've been Why hasn't he just left? Honestly, they seem like decent neighbors other than the murder part.
bringing stuff out of the water and hiding it in the abandoned old houses. He also name drops Shoggoths, a Lovecraftian stable that are basically big blob monsters with lots of eyes and mouths. Anyway, then Zadok freaks out because he sees
They finally come for me! Run while you can! Oh my god, sorry, I like doing crazy voices.
something swimming for shore, orders Robert to get the heck out of town because now they
Why
know
are you
he
still
knows
there?
too much, and then runs screaming into the town and is never seen again. Robert nervously
Into the
heads
town?
back to the bus, but wouldn't you know it, it's got sudden engine trouble, and Robert has no choice but to
Shocking.
stay the night in the Gilman Hotel. The Gilman... Gilman...
No, I'm with her on this one. They actually... It's a bit on the gills, but sure, why not?
Okay. So Robert gets a room, but is too hopped up
Why?
on adrenaline
Just
getting rest,
walk.
in part because his door bolt was removed and he spent some time replacing it, which is good because a few hours into his stay, he starts hearing someone trying to get into his room. This is when Robert wisely decides the time has come to get the heck out of Dodge and
No, the wise time to get out of Dodge was right away, not going there. Just at the point where you talk to the crazy guy, who then decided to run into town to get away from the town. He was crazy, though. It was confirmed. You aren't. You're just stupid. He's very stupid, but I actually like how that's playing into his character to do stupid things to start with, so it makes sense. But yeah, no, he should have ran way before that.
manages to escape through a window while an increasing horde of not very human-sounding people try to batter down the doors.
Yeah.
Robert makes it down to street level and sees a very large crowd of very fishy-looking people streaming out of the hotel carrying lanterns, clearly looking for him but with no idea of where he went. So he starts trying to
This might sound weird, but considering undersea would be very bright, why would they need lanterns when they're above ground and there would be more sources of light than deep undersea where there's absolutely none? You think, if anything, it would be too bright for them. Because Lovecraft probably didn't know a lot about oceanic creatures that far down, just that they existed and they had big eyes. Yeah, that's probably the case.
Metal Gear his way out of town, and upon realizing they're going to be blocking off his means of escape, decides to try and follow the abandoned train tracks out of town towards Arkham, hoping
That
they
worked?
won't be guarded. He imitates the Innsmouth fishy shuffle to avoid attracting attention, and
Seriously?
manages to make it to the tracks before he has to hide in the undergrowth to avoid a large and
Okay. That is absolutely amazing. Oh my god. Like, they have the full carapace on there and all the different bodies in the background, and there's just the one in the top hat and Michael. And you can even see he has a walking cane, and oh my god, this is absolutely brilliant. I love this. I absolutely love this. Great art.
very not human procession of fully fishified Innsmouth folk tramping down the road looking for him.
Yep.
Overwhelmed by the incomprehensibleness of it all, Robert passes out and awakens conveniently not dead the next morning, at which point
Shocking.
he jets over to Arkham, gets cleaned up, and then goes straight to the authorities. What follows is a series of raids on Innsmouth, including a lot of arrests and at least one torpedo fired.
Wait, they listened to him and believed him? I'm a little surprised about that. Usually when you have the person who goes to a new town, it's like, you have to say about the crazy shit that happened. The response is, okay, Mr. Johnson, you just take your meds. That's a little surprised I believed him. Huh.
Fired into Devil's Reef. But while all this is going down, Robert's not quite done. See, he does a little genealogical research and finds out that one Marsh daughter who married an Arkham dude was actually his great-grandmother, and he is part fishman. He starts having weird dreams where he communicates
We've got a good thing going. Lots of gold. So much fish. I mean, honestly, the immortality is a thing.
with his fish lady grandmother and great-great-grandmother, who tell him his destiny is to live with them in luxury under the sea until the day when they rise up, consume the surface world, and worship the old ones when they return. Robert is surprisingly on board with this, and when he wakes up to discover he's acquired the trademark Innsmouth look, he decides to do this ASAP, and also to break out a cousin of his who was put in a sanitary.
Oh, yeah, so I've got to pick up my cousin. This has been fun. You'll see me again. To be fair, rich and immortal is unfortunately tempting, so this makes perfect sense. He would go crazy.
Sanatorium 4 years ago for a disfiguring illness he now understands was just fish puberty. I can't help but feel like this story would be written.
Join us, Robert. Everything's better downwards. Oh, my. It makes too much sense. Stop making sense. Oh my god. It just. Yeah. I'd say they're thirsty, but it's all wet already.
Very differently in today's culture of hot fish people.
And that was Overly Sarcastic Productions' take on H.P. Lovecraft. And it's disturbing how many of the things they said at the end make sense. That if Lovecraft did any of that Shadow over Innsmouth today, it would be taken as a happy story about someone getting to get in touch with their family and find out I'm secretly rich. Also immortal, because that's a thing as well. Yeah, honestly, if anything, he was escaping them. I'm not trying to tear him apart. It was probably a family reunion. And they're not in Alabama, so it was safe. But more importantly, just, yeah. I know that's a horrible one, but context has changed significantly. It does. I didn't think it would change that much, but no, she pointed it out, and now I'm not going to get out of my head. It sounds so much more disturbing. Even though technically it's completely accurate. Yeah. I like this. I like that, but without the context of why Lovecraft did it. Again, I'm going to need to take an entire time to go into his history, check out the videos, really breaking it down. I had a bunch of recommendations, that's the word, in the last video talking about all the places I need to go just to find out more about his history, because apparently his mom actually might have been schizophrenic. Not just hysteric, she was actually crazy and apparently may or may not have abused him as a kid, so he was pretty fucked in the head. And then just tons of other things where it was a marriage for convenience, but also apparently some people said there was love there, which is weird for that time period, because I think that was at the time where that wasn't the reason he did it. I want to know more about his life. I want to know the fucked up parts. I want to know the good parts. I want to find out if he actually became a good person at the end, or if that's just people projecting, hoping that they can kind of feel less bad about the fact that he started a lot. And then there's all the fact that he wasn't famous himself, but was published by his famous friends who had better. I want to know more about him. I don't agree with a lot of it. A lot of it I don't like, but I want to know. Yeah, this is just tempting me to look into other things, specifically more overly sarcastic stuff, which I'm definitely going to continue doing because I like this style. I like how represented, and I've heard Blue does a really good stuff too. I haven't seen that yet because this is all I've seen of theirs yet. Seriously, they've been around for over a decade and I haven't seen any of it. How? Because me and the internet's big. Let's go with that. Other than that, so yeah, I'll probably be doing a bunch of stuff on Lovecraft and a bunch of stuff on this. And also, if I do the Lovecraft stuff in a video, if you guys want to see that, let me know. I might. Or I'll just watch it on my own time. I do that a lot. Because there's a lot of things I watch on my own time. People have recommended all of the Exploring series. I live with that shit all the time on. It's good. So yeah, if you want to see that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to consider watching another one tonight just because I can. Yeah. Neat. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.